Imagine floating in the vast, silent darkness of space, surrounded by the twinkling stars and the distant glow of our pale blue dot. Now, picture something impossible, seeing a human figure outside the International Space Station, but not in a spacesuit. Sounds like science fiction, right? Well, buckle up, because this is a real-life mystery that left even the most seasoned astronaut baffled. In this video, we are diving into the chilling account of an astronaut who claimed to see a human silhouette floating outside the station. And trust me, you won't believe what some theories suggest about it. So, are you ready to explore one of the most eerie and unexplained moments in space exploration history? Let's get into it. It was a routine inspection, a task as familiar as brushing teeth. The astronaut, floating near the window of the International Space Station, was checking for micrometeoroid impacts, a common chore in the harsh environment of space. The station's exterior is constantly bombarded by tiny particles traveling at high speeds, so regular checks are necessary to ensure the structural integrity of the station. This particular inspection was unscheduled, prompted by a minor anomaly detected by ground control. The astronaut, equipped with a high-resolution camera, was documenting the station's hull when something unusual caught their eye. A silhouette, unmistakably human in shape, was visible outside the station. It was near the edge of the camera's view, partially obscured by the station's solar panels. The astronaut paused, their breath catching in their throat. They knew every inch of the station's exterior, every module, every solar panel, every robotic arm. There was no scheduled spacewalk, no reason for a crew member to be outside. The silhouette was not wearing a spacesuit, a glaring anomaly in the vacuum of space. The astronaut's heart pounded in their chest, a primal reaction to the impossible sight. They quickly snapped several photos, their hands moving swiftly but steadily. The camera's flash reflected off the station's metallic surface, illuminating the silhouette for a brief moment. It was definitely human, standing upright, facing the station. The astronaut's mind raced, trying to rationalize what they were seeing. Was it a trick of the light? A malfunction in the camera? A piece of debris that just happened to resemble a human figure? None of these explanations felt satisfactory. The silhouette was too distinct, too unmistakably human. The astronaut knew they had to report this immediately. They radioed mission control, their voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through their veins. "First VE got something unusual out here," they said, their eyes never leaving the silhouette. The silence that followed was heavy, filled with unspoken questions and disbelief. The silhouette was first noticed during a routine spacewalk check. It appeared as a dark, human-like shape against the backdrop of the stars. The form was roughly the size of an average human, with proportions that suggested a head, torso, and limbs. However, the details were indistinct due to the lack of light and the distance from the observer. The posture of the silhouette was motionless, almost statuesque. It didn't seem to be engaged in any activity or movement. The figure was standing upright, facing the station. This stillness was one of the most striking aspects of the sighting. It contrasted sharply with the usual activity and movement associated with astronauts performing tasks outside the station. The distance from the station exterior was difficult to determine precisely. Estimates suggest it was several meters away, close enough to be seen clearly but far enough to be outside the immediate work area of the spacewalking astronauts. This proximity added to the eeriness of the sighting. The silhouette was not just a distant speck, it was close enough to seem almost within reach. The International Space Station, ISS, orbits Earth at an altitude of about 250 miles, completing a full orbit roughly every 90 minutes. This means the station experiences 16 sunrises and sunsets each day. The constant transition between daylight and darkness creates a dynamic lighting environment. Direct sunlight can be intense, casting sharp shadows, while the darkness of orbital night can be profound. The astronaut's visibility would be greatly influenced by these lighting conditions. For instance, during orbital night, the Earth below can provide some illumination, but it's often not enough to clearly see details. Meanwhile, during daylight, the brightness can cause glare, making it difficult to discern objects clearly. The ISS's orbital position also plays a significant role in visibility. The station's orbit is inclined at about 51.6 degrees to the equator, meaning it passes over different parts of the Earth at various times. This inclination can affect the angle of sunlight hitting the station, altering shadow angles and visibility. For example, when the ISS is over the equator, the sunlight might hit it more directly, creating shorter shadows. In contrast, when it's over the poles, the sunlight might come at a lower angle, casting longer shadows. These changing shadow angles can make it challenging to see objects clearly, as they might blend into the shadows or be obscured by them. The station's rotation also influences visibility. The ISS is designed to rotate slowly to keep its solar panels facing the sun for power generation. This rotation can cause objects to move in and out of view, affecting an astronaut's ability to see them clearly. Additionally, the rotation can create a slight gravity-like force, causing objects to drift rather than float freely. This drift can make it difficult to track objects, especially if they are small or far away. For instance, a human silhouette might be visible one moment and then drift out of sight the next, making it hard to confirm what was seen. Moreover, the ISS's position relative to the Earth and the Sun can create unique lighting conditions. When the station is in the Earth's shadow, it experiences an eclipse, which can last for up to 45 minutes. During this time, the only light available is from the Earth below, which can be dim and diffuse. This can make it difficult to see objects clearly, as they might blend into the background. Conversely, when the station is in direct sunlight, the brightness can cause glare, making it hard to see objects directly. In such cases, objects might be more visible when viewed from the side or at an angle, where the glare is less intense. The human body is a remarkable machine, finely tuned to react to stress and danger. When an astronaut, like the one who reported seeing a human silhouette outside the station without a spacesuit, encounters something unexpected, their body responds in predictable ways. The first and most immediate reaction is often a change in breathing rhythm. Breathing can become rapid and shallow, a response known as hyperventilation. This is the body's way of taking in more oxygen, preparing for potential physical exertion or flight. It's similar to what happens when you're startled or scared, like when you hear a loud noise in the middle of the night. Your breath hitches, and you might take a few quick breaths before realizing it's just the wind rattling a window. Along with changes in breathing, the heart rate spikes dramatically. This is the body's way of pumping more blood and oxygen to vital organs. In the astronaut's case, their heart might have been pounding so hard they could feel it in their ears. This is a common reaction to adrenaline, a hormone released by the adrenal glands in response to stress or excitement. Adrenaline is often called the fight or flight hormone because it prepares the body to either face a threat or run away from it. It's the same hormone that makes your heart race during a roller coaster ride or a thrilling movie scene. Another physiological response that might have occurred is momentary tunnel vision. This happens when the body diverts blood flow away from non-essential functions, like the peripheral vision, and focuses it on the most important tasks. In this case, the astronaut's vision might have narrowed, making it difficult to see anything outside of their immediate focus. This is similar to what happens when you're driving and suddenly see a deer in the road. Your vision narrows, and you focus solely on the deer and the road ahead. It's the body's way of helping you concentrate on the most important thing at that moment. Adrenaline also causes other physical reactions. The astronaut might have felt their muscles tense up, ready for action. They might have felt a sudden burst of energy, despite the fact that they were in a zero-gravity environment. They might have even felt a bit lightheaded or dizzy, a side effect of the rapid changes in heart rate and blood pressure. These reactions are all normal and expected responses to a sudden, unexpected event. They're the body's way of protecting itself and preparing for whatever might come next. It's important to note that these reactions can vary from person to person. Some people might experience all of these symptoms, while others might only experience a few. It all depends on the individual and the situation. The astronaut, floating in the tranquility of the International Space Station, ISS, was taken aback by the sight of a human-like silhouette outside the station. The figure was not clad in the usual bulky spacesuit, which immediately raised alarms. The first instinct was to communicate this unusual observation to Mission Control. The astronaut, adhering to standard protocol, initiated a communication attempt with Mission Control. The exchange was brief but intense. The astronaut described the silhouette in detail, emphasizing the lack of a spacesuit. Mission Control, ever vigilant, listened intently, their voices calm and composed, but the underlying tension was palpable. Mission Control's initial response was to verify the observation. They asked the astronaut to describe the figure again, to ensure there was no mistake. The astronaut complied, providing as much detail as possible. However, the confusion deepened when Mission Control reported that their sensors did not detect any objects outside the ISS that matched the astronaut's description. This discrepancy added a layer of complexity to the situation. The astronaut and Mission Control were at an impasse. The astronaut was certain of what they had seen, but the sensors told a different story. The conversation turned to the possibility of a malfunction. Mission Control suggested that the astronaut's visor might have been scratched or dirty, causing a visual anomaly. They also considered the possibility of a sensor malfunction, although this was less likely given the redundancy of the systems. The astronaut, however, was adamant. The figure was clear and distinct, not a mere smudge or glitch. The exchange continued, with Mission Control trying to rationalize the observation and the astronaut insisting on the veracity of their sighting. The dialogue was a dance of sorts, each side trying to make sense of the other's perspective. Despite the confusion, the communication remained professional and respectful. Mission Control assured the astronaut that they would investigate further, reviewing sensor data and checking for any anomalies. They also suggested that the astronaut keep a close eye on the area, reporting any changes or additional sightings. The astronaut agreed, though the uncertainty was unsettling. The exchange ended with a promise from Mission Control to provide updates as soon as possible. The astronaut, left with more questions than answers, floated back to their duties, the image of the silhouette lingering in their mind. The incident, though brief, had left a lasting impression, a testament to the mysteries that still lurk in the vast expanse of space. The International Space Station, ISS, is equipped with a plethora of sensors and cameras designed to monitor its environment and the astronauts' activities. These tools are crucial for maintaining the safety and functionality of the station. Temperature readings, for instance, are taken at various points both inside and outside the ISS. These readings help to ensure that the station systems are operating within safe parameters. Any sudden or unexplained changes in temperature can indicate a problem, such as a malfunctioning piece of equipment or a breach in the station structure. External cameras are another vital component of the ISS's monitoring system. They provide real-time visuals of the station's exterior, allowing Mission Control to keep an eye on the station's condition. These cameras are used for everything from monitoring spacewalks to inspecting the station's solar arrays. However, they are not infallible. There have been instances where the cameras have failed to capture certain events, either due to technical issues or because the event occurred outside of the camera's fields of view. Telemetry, which is the automated communication of data from the ISS to Mission Control, is also a critical aspect of the station's monitoring system. It provides a constant stream of information about the station status, including data from its sensors and cameras. Missing telemetry can make it challenging to understand what's happening on the station. It can occur due to various reasons, such as a temporary loss of signal or a malfunction in the station's communication systems. In some cases, missing telemetry can make it difficult to verify or refute certain observations, such as the sighting of a human silhouette outside the station without a spacesuit. Inside the International Space Station, ISS, protocols are in place for every eventuality. When an astronaut reports seeing something unusual, like a human silhouette outside the station without a spacesuit, the crew springs into action. The first step is to gather the entire team. The ISS crew typically consists of 6 astronauts from different space agencies, and they are trained to work together seamlessly. They would meet in one of the station's modules, likely the Unity or Zvezda module, which serve as central hubs for the crew. Once together, the crew would begin a systematic check of the station's modules. The ISS is divided into several pressurized modules, each serving a specific purpose. For instance, the Destiny module is the primary research laboratory for US payloads, while the Columbus module is used for European research. The crew would communicate with Mission Control on Earth, which would help coordinate the checks. They would verify the status of each module, ensuring that all hatches are properly sealed and that there are no signs of breaches or malfunctions. Confirming that no spacewalk is scheduled is crucial. Spacewalks, or extravehicular activities, EVAs, are carefully planned events. Astronauts wear specialized spacesuits, known as EMUs, extravehicular mobility units, which provide life support and protection from the harsh environment of space. The crew would check the schedule to ensure that no EVA is planned for that day. They would also verify the location and status of all spacesuits on board. This step is essential to rule out the possibility of a crew member being outside the station without proper equipment. Communication is key during such incidents. The crew would maintain constant contact with Mission Control, providing updates and receiving instructions. They would also document their observations and actions, ensuring that all data is recorded for further analysis. The crew's training and teamwork are vital in handling unexpected situations. They are taught to remain calm and methodical, even in the face of the unknown. This approach helps them gather accurate information and make informed decisions. The crew's response inside the station is a testament to their extensive training and the robust protocols in place to handle any situation that may arise. The human mind is a complex landscape, and when confronted with the inexplicable, it often leaves lasting imprints. Astronauts, who routinely face the vast, mysterious expanse of space, are not immune to these psychological impacts. The sighting of a human silhouette outside the space station, without a spacesuit, could trigger a cascade of long-term psychological effects. Recurring dreams might become a common occurrence, with the astronaut reliving the moment, trying to make sense of it. These dreams could range from vivid recreations of the event to more abstract representations, symbolizing the mind's attempt to process the unexplained. For instance, the astronaut might dream of floating in the void, searching for the silhouette, or perhaps dreaming of being back on Earth, trying to share the experience with others, only to be met with disbelief. Heightened vigilance is another potential long-term impact. The astronaut might become more alert, more aware of their surroundings, both in space and back on Earth. This could manifest as an increased sensitivity to changes in their environment, a heightened startle response, or even difficulty relaxing. It's like the mind is constantly on the lookout, scanning for any sign of the unexplained. This heightened state of awareness could be beneficial in some situations, but it could also lead to exhaustion and stress over time. For example, the astronaut might find themselves constantly checking their equipment or being overly cautious in their daily activities, even when there's no real threat. Persistent uncertainty about the event could also leave a lasting mark. The human mind craves understanding, and when it can't find it, it can lead to a sense of unease. The astronaut might find themselves replaying the event in their mind, trying to find a logical explanation. They might seek out others who have had similar experiences, or delve into research to try and make sense of what they saw. This persistent uncertainty could lead to a sense of isolation, as the astronaut struggles to share their experience with others who might not understand or believe them. It's a lonely place to be, grappling with the unknown, with no clear answers in sight. This uncertainty could also lead to a shift in the astronaut's worldview, as they grapple with the implications of their experience. They might question their beliefs, their understanding of reality, and their place in the universe. It's a profound journey, one that could lead to personal growth, but also one that could be challenging and unsettling. All right, folks, let's wrap this up. So, to sum it all up, we've got this wild story about an astronaut who claims to have seen a human-like figure floating outside the space station. And here's the kicker: no spacesuit. Now, we've talked about the possible explanations. Maybe it was a trick of the light, perhaps a piece of debris, or maybe, just maybe, something a bit more otherworldly. But hey, that's the fun of these mysteries, right? They get us thinking, wondering, and debating. Now, first want to hear from you. What do you think happened out there? Was it something mundane, or do you think there's more to this story than meets the eye? Drop your theories in the comments below and let's keep the conversation going. And if you're as fascinated by these kinds of stories as First Am, make sure to hit that subscribe button and smash the bell icon. That way, you won't miss out on our next deep dive into the unexplained. Trust me, we've got some mind-bending content coming your way soon. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep looking up at the stars and wondering what else is out there. Who knows? Maybe one day, we'll find out. See you next time.